start a little business. So children and adults alike, I think all should be listening to learn all about this. And
so we're so excited. Look forward to that next week. Today we're going to talk about the progression of a lawsuit, and I don't know how to do it yourself or when you need to decide that you're in over your head and you need to get an attorney or whatever. We've talked about before service of process and filing suit, and that takes place after the plaintiff draws up an original petition, files it with the court. Then the next thing they have to do, and we've talked about
first there's a problem. So the anatomy of a lawsuit, I guess we can start at the very, very beginning. But before we get into that, I was thinking while we were talking about Lemonade Day, I'm sorry, I'm so ADD today, but it kind of ties into, Jeff Bezos is the richest man in the world.
Right.
And he recently, he was on the news because he's filed for divorce. And so now his wife will be the 5th richest woman in the world after they split the fortune. Well, did you know that he lived in Houston for a while? He grew up in River Oaks. He went to River Oaks Elementary. And his mother married Bezos, and then he went to school in Florida, what have you. But that's not the interesting thing. The reason I was even looking this up, I would never have gone there. He started Amazon. It was just sort of a business plan he had. He ended up going to Princeton. He did various other things first. I think he did tech. He kind of got the background of learning how to start Amazon by setting up the IT for some upstart companies that had a lot of money. But anyway, he came up with this Amazon plan. It was originally just to do books, and then it kind of spread, and it was really big. But what was interesting to me is that I was reading about the rodeo, and George Strait is the number one, attraction for like the last 30 years.
Right.
And then one of my friends that I used to cheerlead with was, she had posted a picture of her with George Strait. I'm like, right when he first started, I'm like, how did you get a picture with George Strait? He is a first cousin of Jeff Bezos.
Oh, my gosh.
And George Strait was born in Petite, Texas.
Yeah.
And his son went to Texas A&M, graduated from A&M. And George Strait graduated from South Texas, which, of course, Southwest Texas at the time was Southwest. Now it's Texas State. I just didn't realize there was how much strong Texas roots there were with George Strait and how he got started. And he was just in a little town, and one thing led to another. But he's first cousins with Jeff Bezos. They share a maternal grandmother.
Oh, my
Did not know that. I thought that what a small world. And so Jim was like, yeah, everybody in Texas. He probably borrowed money from him. No. And just like Beto, Francis Robert, whatever his Irish last name is, he also is actually pretty wealthy. He's not just some upstart from El Paso that picked a Hispanic name to kind of get that following. His family's actually well off. His mom owned a furniture store. He's probably worth, I think, $13 million.
Wow.
Yeah. So he's not just some guy that wanted to be politics and waves his hands a lot. He actually had some money too. So Texans have some deep roots, and there's a lot of money to be made, which kind of ties into Lemonade Day. It started on Lemonade Day because you may be the next Jeff Bezos, right?
Hey, all right. Okay. Well, so
anyway, that's where I was going to start. To start, you have to have a problem.
Right.
A lawsuit only starts when there's a dispute of some kind, whether it be I don't want to say criminal crime. That's a lawsuit with the state,
but it is right.
But you can have from the same incident there can be a criminal and a civil aspect to it. Like O.J. Simpson had the murder trial, but he also had the wrongful death trial, which is they won in the wrongful death, which is ultimately how he got arrested for trying to get his stuff back. And then they were like, but with a firearm. But really, he went to prison the second time after stealing his stuff back in Las Vegas because everybody felt like he'd actually done it, and that was sort of the way of getting back in it. But if you have to have a dispute, and so someone's going to file suit because of a dispute. So that's the very beginning of a lawsuit. Somebody's upset about something, and then someone files a lawsuit. And today we're going to start off with you're upset and you're filing a lawsuit.
Okay. I'm upset. I'm going to file this lawsuit. If you're representing yourself, that's called pro se. You can go down for some form, like if it's a divorce or something like that, and just fill out a form, or you type something up and it's a complaint. Get an attorney to type up a petition.
And the easiest way to do that is somebody else has had the same dispute as you, and really you don't even want to go into a lawsuit and ruin your life with this, unless the person you're suing actually has. Is not judgment proof. They actually have something that you can get, because civil is always about the money.
Right.
Sometimes it's about defamation or your whatever it may be. There may be a different angle to it. It's emotional, but for the most part, it's about the money. You're trying to get some money out of them. Okay. So that being said,
you get them sued. You get a
petition, and you can you can Google or go into one of the county clerk sites to find what we call a case in the box. You can find one that's similar to it.
Something similar.
And find one where they won, so you can follow sort of that guide. That's the first thing I do now, even if it's something like patents that I don't do very often. I'll immediately go into the federal websites and try to find one and watch how it flows to see if I even have a case worth suing over.
And so once you do that, then you get them served. And that can take a while, but you get them served. You get a service processor. You get the constable to go out,
and
that's
a whole different ball game too, because it's not just I'm going to file suit and I'm going to tell them about it and get it served. Here, you're in a lawsuit. You've got to follow the proper procedures of service for it to be. And if you don't have proper service, then and they don't answer, you're not going to get a default judgment because you don't have proper service, and they'll get you every time on that. So you have to follow the rules of civil procedure. And I think I always forget what all the exact rules are on it. But you have to have, you got to follow Rule 21. I think it's Rule 9. Let me see, subpoena. I had federal subpoenas. I'd pull like a little printout on it. But in a nutshell, if you've got civil service in a district court, JP court, you have to have somebody who's older than 18 and not a party to the suit at a bare minimum to be able to serve this. And you can't serve on Sundays. And you have to get a citation. So before you can serve, you've got to file your case with the clerk, whichever court it may be in, district or JP or county court, and then you're gonna ask for a citation. It's $8 extra, almost across the board. It's always that much extra, and it's the little piece of paper that they create that goes on top of your petition after you've filed it that you give to your process server, whoever's going to serve it, whoever's qualified, and they take that piece of paper with them, and you don't have to wait, or your process server doesn't have to wait for them to sign something. They can literally say, "You are served. Is this you? You're served."
Yeah.
And then they file this return of service with the court to show there was proper service. But proper service is a big deal. People dodge service if they think they're going to be sued.
No kidding.
The best thing to do is if you have somebody like a divorce and it's a mutual divorce, you can get a waiver, and that's going to be the place of the service. But you still have to get the citation and show the court that they've had proper legal service, or you don't have a case. So that being said, what's the next step?
So then the defendant answers. And he's got 21 days, he or she, whoever, a business, whatever, has 21 days to answer. And if they fail to answer, then you can move the court for a default judgment. Default judgment is I filed the petition, the original complaint, I served them properly, and they've just ignored me.
Right.
So they know that they had 21 days, and if they don't know, they need to know because...
And what's really bad about default judgment is that whatever is in your petition you've asked for, you're going to get. So if they said, "I want $1 million because you defamed me," and then they don't respond, then and everything's done properly, it doesn't even matter if your claim wasn't written out properly, then they're going to get default judgment. And we get lots and lots of those and we talked about appeals in one of our other shows that you can get a restricted appeal if you weren't served properly and you didn't even know about this judgment. Then you can get something, you don't have to have it an appeal notice within 30 days. You can file what's called a restricted appeal, which gives you 6 months once you find out about it. And you're going to find out about it more than likely because people are watching, like these people, it's a business, they're watching judgments hit, and they'll say, "Hey, you'll get a notice saying," I forget what they try to sell you on, but you'll find out because somebody's scouring the district clerk records and they want to buy your judgment or help you out with the judgment, or do you need a supersedeas bond for your judgment? You're just going to find out about it. Or if you're like me, every now and then you'll just kind of poke into the clerk's files to see what's going on with your own clients as well as yourself, which I never have anything. I'm pretty much aware if I'm going to be served or not.
Right.
I don't think I've been, well, we're not going to I guess we don't have to really get into that, but you'll know if you're in a dispute with somebody and you'll be expecting service, right? And so if you get a default judgment, though, and it's against you, all is not lost, you can do one of these restricted appeals. And then there's another one that we talked about in another show that's 4 years beyond this restricted appeal. And I forgot what it was called. But there's 3 different ways that you can get back to it.
The bill of review?
Yes, thank you. That's the 4-year one. Okay. Yeah. And sometimes you can even go past that depending on whether you have a constitutional issue. But for the most part, yes, people, don't ignore. If you've been served, don't be like, "Yeah, well, you served me and I'm mad at you, and so what?"
Yeah.
Don't ignore it.
Ignore you.
Because they can go in and get a default judgment, and it's really hard to unwind and very expensive.
So true. Okay, and so that's if they don't answer.
Right.
We're talking today about if they do answer. Okay, so they answer. They've got 21 days to answer, and basically usually their answer can be,
Well, it's the first Monday from the 20 days past the date of service. So sometimes it's 21, could be up to 26, but whatever it ends up being.
right around there. But be careful, and you need to look at that rule.
It's on the citation that you're served with. That's your court order that you've got just to answer this within 21 days from the date of service. That's what the citation is for, to give the person being served official court-ordered notice. And sometimes that service is not just a notice. It's actually got in there a temporary injunction date saying, not only are you served and you've got to answer, but you've got to show up for court, which is going to be a separate service. So you're going to have one that says answer the lawsuit, and the other says, oh, and by the way, particularly in the case of divorces, you've got a temporary injunction date and you need to show up and you need to bring certain things. And that's when most people call an attorney, because this is scary being told by court you've got to show up and you've got to bring tax returns. You've been served, and now you've not only been served, but you've got to be in court within 2 weeks, and you've got to bring a lot of stuff with you. That's when you definitely want to start looking into, do I really need an attorney or not? Do I need to call my wife or whoever, ex-wife, estranged husband, whoever served you, to see if they want to go to mediation or get a Rule 11 to quash that temporary injunction, so I don't have to take a day off, get an attorney, I need more time. If you're not served with that temporary injunction within 10 days of the service, though, then you can automatically go to any court and say, I didn't get timely service. I don't have time to hire an attorney. Can we reset this? But that being said, I think Dick said we had about 2 minutes. Or where are we at now? We have to take a break? Okay.
Okay, well, listen, with Toni and I today, we are talking about the progression of a lawsuit. We're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back.
This is Rick, TRC. Every Tuesday on my show, Afternoons with Lone Star from 3 to 7, I play back-to-back classic rock hits. That's right. I like to call it a 2 for Tuesday or a 3 for whatever it is you'd like. Call the request line, 936-647-3776, or message me on Facebook, Afternoons with Lone Star, make a music request. That's right, you can do it. Here's what else. Go over to our website, irlonestar.com. Get the app on your phone. It's easy. You'll like it.
From the beginning, the main purpose of the Cooperative Extension Service has been to change human behavior by teaching people how to apply the results of scientific research. By utilizing a holistic, multi-level approach, Extension family and community health programs encourage health and well-being for everyone, addressing values, concerns, and needs with reliable science-based information. Extension programs help people lead healthier lives. We are Texas A&M AgriLife Extension, helping Texans make their lives better.
We have the safest food supply in the world. Strict laws and regulations restrict the usage of hormones, antibiotics, and pesticides within our food supply. Production agriculture practices and technologies such as the use of GMOs, which is not any more or less risky than conventional crop production, has allowed American farmers to produce more food on less acres in environmentally sound ways. Find out more online at pathtotheplate.tamu.edu. We are Texas A&M AgriLife Extension, helping Texans make lives better.
Hispanic Chamber Connections with Dr. Carlos Sanchez, President of the Woodlands Conroe Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, featuring event announcements, member highlights, and more. Tuesdays at 1 p.m., broadcasting from the heart of Conroe, Texas on irlonestar.com and Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1.
Does your company have needs that can be met by an employee who is dependable, hardworking, enthusiastic, motivated, cooperative, respectful, and punctual? Conroe Independent School District Special Education Department can meet your needs by connecting you with potential employees that have been preparing for a lifetime of employment. We have numerous individuals seeking paid and unpaid work experiences. If your company is interested in seeing how we can meet your business needs, call Conroe ISD Special Education Department to find the best employees for you at 936-709-7671.
Don't forget to download the Lone Star Community Radio app from your Google Play or Apple Store. Bring Montgomery County's community radio with you anywhere with your smartphone or tablet. If you are in the Conroe area, tune in on FM. That's Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1. If you are on the computer, bookmark irlonestar.com as your internet radio station. A Lone Star Community Radio. Broadcasting 24/7 from the heart of downtown Conroe, Texas.
What can the Better Living for Texans program do for you? You can learn how to increase your consumption of fruits and vegetables, choose foods that are relatively inexpensive and good to eat, make your food dollars last longer, prepare quick, nutritious meals, help your children learn how to eat healthier snacks, and much more. Our program is committed to helping people like you improve your health through providing research-based nutrition education in a friendly, cost-free, and relaxed environment. We are Texas A&M AgriLife Extension, helping Texans make their lives better.
Welcome back to the Legal Connection with Toni and Cheryl. Toni and I are here today talking about the progression of a lawsuit. But Toni, you wanted to say something about Brad Paisley and Bonnie and Clyde?
Yes. We went to Dallas this weekend, and they were having
Which is where I'm from.
Yeah, and where Jim is from, Richardson. That was my first, the first skating competition. Always these sidebars. The first skating competition I won when I was 12 was in Richardson, Texas, which I thought was across. It was Nebraska. You know, it was Alaska as far as I was concerned. And I competed, and I was, warmed in my heart because I won. And I competed against Paul Wiley's sister. If you don't skate, then you don't know who Paul Wiley is. But he won the silver medal in the Olympics, I think, in 84 or something, but I beat his sister, so that's my claim to fame. I beat Wiley's sister. All right, so Richardson, Texas. We went up there, and they were having an auction of Bonnie and Clyde memorabilia.
Oh, wow.
And Bonnie and Clyde, they were like the sort of, I guess, lovable, if you want to say that, gangsters from...
My grandparents knew them.
Oh, they did? Because they were from the Dallas area.
That's right.
More information. I love that. And so, but they really, their lives were just so sad because Clyde Barrow would not have been the notorious gangster person he was had he not been abused in prison, and it was Easton prison and stuff. He wanted to get back up. And